What is going on, guys? My name is Hellraisers2 and welcome to this new card reveal video. That's right, Blizzard's new Hearthstone expansion recently leaked online and we're going to take a look at it here. I have my special guest here, fellow YouTuber Skaver.
Hello!
And we're going to be taking a look at some of these leaked cards. So if you like this video, if you like what's coming up here, if you like Hearthstone, make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and we're just going to jump right into it here with this first card. It's going to be Immortal Servitude. Now, what we're seeing the return of the reborn mechanic here, Skaver.
Yeah, that's really interesting, yeah. I mean, Priest generally doesn't, build minion-based decks, but this is a really cool flavor card. Like, it has a lot to do with the theme.
Absolutely. Yeah, I totally agree. So, where do you think this will? I think this will probably see play in like a big priest.
Maybe, yeah, big priest in wild. Maybe, like maybe some sort of combo. Like with the reborn sort of thing.
I'd really like to see this with perhaps some powerful death rattle effects. Let's hope.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Alright, let's move on here to the next card. It's going to be Heavy Matic for Warrior. 2 mana, 1/3 weapon. After your hero attacks, add wood to your hand.
Warrior has a lot of good weapon choices for 2 mana. It's something we have to consider when we consider this. But, wood is a very sturdy material. Can be used for a lot of purposes. And I think that will give this card an advantage when people choose what to play in their deck.
I'm really excited to see what players do with the wood. I think
they could build some stuff with the wood.
Absolutely, and I think this weapon really promotes a creative playstyle. So I have to give Blizzard props for that.
It's one of those weapons you can really build a deck around, and I like that. Okay, let's move on.
All right, next up we got Brand, a 3 mana spell for Paladin. Change your opponent's username to Idiot for last. Blizzard.
It's a bit of a wacky one.
Well, I tell you what.
For that reason, I don't think it'll see any serious play.
I tell you what, though, I can't wait to put this in one of my decks.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to put that in all my Paladin decks from now on.
Absolutely.
And that card art is absolutely hilarious.
That's an auto include as far as I'm concerned. Okay.
That's some crazy stuff right there.
And the funny thing is, with Paladin in the state that he is, you might be able to get away with a card that does nothing.
You maybe could, yeah.
Absolutely.
If just for the sort of BM toxic sort of classic shit.
Classic gaming moment.
Okay.
Let's move
Next
on.
one.
Agile Strike, 1 mana demon hunter. Increase your movement speed for 25%.
I've got a lot to say about this one. I don't think anyone was in any doubt that Demon Hunter was the fastest class. And now they add a spell that makes it even faster. I mean, where's that stuff for the classes that are lacking in speed and need the support? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do worry about this card. It
could be a problem card, yeah.
This card seems like a card that would be problematic to balance in the future. This could be intense for 2 years. If Demon Hunter gets this quick.
If it had anything else that increases movement speed, I mean, we're talking Usain Bolt over here.
I'm sure
it is strong. I'm sure it'll see some play.
The Masters of Blizzard will likely be able to handle this, but proceed with.
They've never let us down before.
Absolutely. Let's move on now to the tickler.
I haven't actually seen this one yet.
It's a druid card, taunt, battlecry, gain 1 attack for each time your opponent audibly laughed during the game. Now, this is certainly a high variance card.
Yes, yeah.
You can definitely.
I think there are ways that you could build a deck around it. If you put a lot of funny cards in your deck, maybe try and make the opponent laugh.
Right. We've already
you might be able to tickle them in a certain way. Yeah.
Blizzard are already showing that they want to take the game in a funny direction. With the Brand card, so I think Weird Tickler kind of pushes that.
I just want to say 6 mana for a high attack taunt minion could be too steep, even if there is the added bonus of the sort of tickle laugh thing.
I think it's definitely, if not in constructed, I could definitely see this being played in arena, being a real powerhouse.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm always laughing in arena.
Absolutely.
It's funny.
Arena's probably the funniest game mode, so watch out for Weird Tickler there. But constructed, we'll see.
We'll have to see.
Void Twist, 5-mana Warlock spell. Your opponent cannot play on unless oriented upside down. So I suppose this would mean like you would actually go upside down in your chair.
Well,
this is definitely.
I mean, it's situational. It's situational because some people are very flexible. You know, might be able to do a handstand, and that would be quite easy for them. But sort of maybe a more rotund Hearthstone player would not be able to get himself upside down
a steep
and
mana
would
cost.
lose.
I think
it is a steep mana cost.
The situation that Blizzard had in mind when they came up with this card was playing against somebody who perhaps might be physically like encumbered, perhaps disabled. I think they would definitely struggle in the Void Twist matchup. Yeah,
if you were playing against a disabled person, this would guarantee the win. So for that reason, I think I'll be putting it in my decks. But
it's somewhat of a tech card.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a one of. I'd run it.
Yeah, maybe like in like wild Reno Highlander decks, it might be good. You know, I wonder what happens if you play two of these, because upside down of being upside down is the right way up,
true.
Right? So I guess you would want to include only one, but maybe you want two, so you can sort of get the draw consistency, really sock it to the disabled people. But I think we're going to have to see if this one is
I think it's definitely one to watch.
It's very creative.
Alright, the next one, the Slathering Scorch Beast. 4-mana 4/5, classic Yeti stats, an epic neutral card, battle cry. If you had a dream last night, draw 3 plant type spells. Wow.
Well, we've seen how strong the plant type spells can be. We've seen how strong they can be.
Yeah, this is definitely one where I'm like, I mean, Blizzard knows best, of course.
Of course.
But this is I think a really strong card in a lot of situations.
But there are people out there who maybe like, you know, are on medication, they can't dream.
Perhaps cannot experience
they wouldn't want
wonder.
to put. Yes, possibly.
This is definitely yeah, I think Blizzard are really trying to push back on the stoners, which I can respect.
Yeah.
So I think it's a strong stat line and a really strong effect.
Yeah, yeah.
This is definitely, I'm thinking,
it's another high variance one. Yeah,
Druid,
yeah, rogue with a new plant type, rogue spells, yeah.
Right, if anyone who runs plant type spells, this is a must-have, I think.
And also someone who dreams. Okay, what do we have here?
Next up we got
Orgrimmar, Meat Observer, Battle Cry, download an image of your opponent's cock to your computer.
2-mana 3/3, strong stat line.
Strong stat line, and also gives you that increased leverage over the opponent. Like, I have a picture of your cock, I can peruse it at my leisure, I can look at your penis. It's intimidating.
It's intimidating.
But there is the downside, of course, if your girlfriend goes on your computer, she might find it. If you queue into multiple people,
yeah,
you have a lot of pictures of penises on
might fill up
hard drive.
Yeah,
it might fill up your hard drive, yeah.
There's also the concern that you might see something you don't want to see. You know, like
if someone has a really fucked up penis, it could be quite traumatic.
Like,
yeah,
exactly. You put this in your deck, like, oh, I'm just gonna see some penises. That's fine.
I mean, if you're playing against a woman, I mean, it's a rare chance, but this thing
low rolls quite heavily.
Yeah, low rolls. Yeah.
So I think strong stat line, but really, I think it's too much of a high risk. I
think at the present time, with more men playing Hearthstone than women, this could see play. But should that thing change, like Blizzard sort of tone it down with the sexual assault kind of thing,
I really don't
this card might become worse.
I really don't see. Maybe I just feel like it's
a steep price.
Yeah,
it depends on how much of a risk taker you are. I feel like.
I suppose so. I mean, it is a strong stat line at the end of the day. Okay, let's move on.
Silver Moon Purifier. Wow.
6 mana 4/4 lifesteal. That's nice. Deal damage equal to your credit score. Randomly split amongst all enemy minions, so it's not an aggressive card.
It could be very good.
Card.
Yeah, because it has the board clear, it has the heal. Again, this is one that really depends on the sort of person who's playing it, right? Like if you have a good credit score.
I was looking on Hearthstone to just kind of gauge like the average Hearthstone player's credit score, and I think it's quite low, really. But I think how high would your credit score have to be for this card to be valuable, do you think? Also, it highly depends on what your opponent has on the board.
Yeah.
So
But there is the mech tribe, which
That's
I mean,
true.
mech paladin.
Mech
That's been pretty
synergy.
good in the past, yeah. So I think this is one to look out for.
Let's move
Okay.
on. Shadowware Brain. Repeat 2 mana priest spell. Repeat the last thing your opponent said. They mention a card added to your hand.
Well, this one is very clever. There are a lot of sort of, if you play a card that sort of is notable, they might exclaim.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. You got to really know your opponent. I know. I would
and if-
certainly be weak to this card. I say a lot when I play Hearthstone. So.
Whenever I play a card, I usually say the card's name like maybe 2-3 times, you know, as I play it.
So I assume.
But even still, you could maybe get some information, like say, you know, you play this, and then you know, like what you hear is like, yeah, I'll be down for tea in 2 minutes. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's the last thing the opponent said, and you'll
now
know.
you know
they're hungry and they're hurrying to get to their
drag
tea.
out the match. I think I will probably be putting this in my Brain Priest. I think if you hear like perhaps the person is like crying, they're upset, you start emoting them.
Oh,
you might
yeah.
get a free win.
You might get some psychological damage.
Exactly. So I will definitely be running this. I can't wait to see what I can find out, what kind of information I can gain.
Okay.
Next up, the Strawberry Sorrow Feaster, neutral.
Oh
common.
my god.
10 mana, 8/1, gain 1 health for how loud you can scream in decibels. Now, off the top of my head, I believe speech is about 40 decibels. So that's a lot of health.
Yeah, but the 10 mana.
It's
10 mana big minions have never really been good. But
I
for someone
agree.
like me, who can scream like maybe about 200 decibels, like I think
I mean, if
I
they
think I
have an
can see
answer
use
for
of
this,
this.
you really have to rely on them not having an answer, right? Because it's a 10 mana
Yeah.
card, it doesn't have an immediate effect.
But when it has the massive amount of health, and it's against classes that don't really have any destroy effects, you could you might be able to get away with it.
And also, beautiful card art. Just want to give Blizzard some credit on that.
Yep.
Once again, the artist can do no wrong. Next then, another 10 mana card. It's going to be Rod of Immense Damage.
Wow, okay,
10 mana,
that
free
is immense.
durability, destroy your opponent. Now,
the thing about this one is, it is a very strong effect, but does a rogue want to be getting to 10 mana?
actually, yeah, I worry about how slow this card is, right? It's
Yeah.
like
I think this
really
one will
weak
not
against
see a lot of
Ice
play.
Block.
Yes, yeah.
I don't know. I don't really see this one.
Nah, yeah.
But like Ooze can destroy it. Harrison Jones.
I would do this if I were you. Yep. Okay.
Okay.
Should we move on?
Let's move on.
Flamboyant Filibuster.
Battlecry
Well,
Death Rattle. Sexually arouse your opponent. 7 mana, 7/7.
as if they couldn't power creep War Golem anymore, they add this into the game. You know what I mean? With 2 very strong effects. Distracting.
Absolutely. I think it's I mean, you could argue War Golem had a similar effect, but this one really just puts it on ink. And
Yeah.
I think you could.
I agree with that.
You could absolutely derail an opponent's game plan with this.
You could, yeah.
I think.
You could derail their plan full stop, not even in the game, like just what they were going to do with their afternoon. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. It synergizes really well with Orgrimmar Meat Observer. I think that combo is going to be very strong.
Yeah, and you can do that for 10 mana,
Exactly, right. It fits in.
Or even 9, yeah. So,
Giving that
yeah.
card Rush, having both those effects trigger in one turn. Jesus. That's a strong card.
I'd just like to say before we move on, I do think this is like a new direction for Blizzard, who haven't really printed sexual cards before, and this is like the first sexual card they've made.
Goblins versus Gnomes have I seen.
Yeah, the Freaky Fiddler, yeah. That one was pretty sexual, but this is like the first one we've seen, and I think this shows that Blizzard are sort of... They've made the problem of valuing sexuality too much in the past. But this is a sexual card with good, decent stat lines for its cost, so
it's a
I'm really
healthy
interested
card.
to see where we take it.
Absolutely.
It's a healthy card.
I'll put it
Okay.
into my warrior decks. So moving on now, Evil Ghost.
Whoa! Okay, this is really cool. I think, yeah.
That's gonna get the pulse pounding. That's
1 mana, 1/1 battle cry. Startle your opponent. Similar, maybe, to the flamboyant filibuster.
Again, another mental effect.
Yeah, like one that derails sort of the opponent's
They're
game
really pushing
plan.
this kind of archetype.
I think it's like the main theme of the expansion. Yeah, Champions of Azeroth. Yeah.
Okay. It's weak stats, but again, I mean, you play
this
two
is a
of
card
these in
that
one turn. Your opening hand is very strong.
I think that this is a bad design card because new players who aren't aware of this card will be very taken off guard. You know, they'll be very shocked. They won't know that it's something that could be played.
Blizzard leveraging, you know,
buying more packs, as they should, of course, because they're a company and money is important, and we want to support them.
Well, I was going to say leveraging like your ability to play around an opponent who perhaps might be weaker physically.
Yes, yeah. Or like maybe an older man with a heart condition, you know, that could really sort of get them going.
If your opponent ropes after you play this, you know what's happened.
You do, yeah. Well,
I'll put that in my
very
lock.
cool. Yeah, I'll put that in my control lock. Yeah, let's go.
Alright.
Oh.
Moving
wow,
on here.
okay.
Oh, finally getting to a legendary.
The expansion.
The
big guy. I mean, this guy's so cool.
I love the Chonga encounter in World of Warcraft, and I'm so glad they finally added him. Chonga the Blood Dripper, 10 mana, 5/5. So I think they should have given him a little more stats. What's Battlecry? If you play 10 demons this game, kill all of the opponent's pets.
Well, you want to talk about a mental beatdown?
Right.
We've got one right here. But 10 demons.
10 demons is a lot.
There aren't that many good control demons in currently.
Right.
I don't think.
Absolutely.
So, and this isn't really something you can play in a zoo lock, you know, it's
too slow.
But the effect is so strong. It's like if there's someone who plays like with their cat on their lap, the power of this card will immediately be apparent.
Right. If you drop it and right away it has that effect.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
The problem is, you also got to consider some people do not have pets.
That is true,
and that is
yeah.
a huge whiff for such a high cost card.
Yeah, okay.
But I think it might just be worth it. Just because if you do get the effect,
it will be so funny.
Devastating.
And it would be so funny. Like, I can see this one being in a lot of Trollden compilations.
Absolutely.
You know, like cats dying, dogs dying, sort of. This is a really funny card.
I would love to see Brian Kibler's reaction to this card if he gets it played against him.
And if you stick a Bran, oh boy.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
That's a lot of dead pets.
That kid's
awesome.
Alright, let's move on. Definitely Necromancer, 5 mana, 3/5. Now this might be the control demon you were after.
It is, yeah.
Battlecry, your clearly falls over.
Put into support Chonga the Blood Dripper.
Absolutely. It's definitely, it's that archetype of just like...
It's
like pain.
I really like this card because it sort of gives the opponent that decision, you know, like when it triggers, the opponent, your girlfriend falls over, yeah. Like you can continue to play on and maybe damage your relationship with your girlfriend.
Right.
Or you could go check on her and maybe forfeit the game. So it puts the opponent in a
card. This is smart design right here.
It puts the opponent in an uncomfortable position. I think that's just what a
control
warlock is going to need to do.
Yeah, a control warlock is Chonga warlock is absolutely going to need that kind of effect. I think that's great design from Blizzard.
Moving on. Filipino scientists inspire, discover a new element.
Ooh, wow! I can't wait to see what players do with this. You know, I think
they could discover some elements. Yeah,
I think there could absolutely be. I mean, we haven't seen the inspire mechanic in a long time. I don't think I'd want to play it because there's such a weak health. I don't think I'd want to play Filipino scientist without being able to immediately hero power and just really discover something interesting and new.
Yeah, I mean, Shaman does not have one of the stronger hero powers. It's it's random, but just the chance of getting to discover something completely never before seen will probably entice a lot of players, and I think this one will definitely be popular.
This will definitely be an exciting card. I can't wait to see what people do with it. Even if it isn't the most powerful, it's going to change the game. You can say that for sure. So, Filipino scientist, great card. Moving on here to
Tinker's Powder.
1 mana rogue spell. Your opponent's coughs echo. Now
again, maybe a very strong one against the elderly. You know,
absolutely.
Getting them to cough a lot could sort of trigger some sort of heart attack, cardiac arrest type thing.
I think.
But other than that, it's good for combos. You know, it's a cheap spell. Rogue always wants those.
You can cast as many times as you want. I mean, dangerous with an Octobot. If I wanted to really get the value out of just the card in and of itself, I'd want to play it at high mana. I'd want to really get a lot of them going, because that's really what's going to make the rest of the game a struggle for the opponent.
And if you find a way to sort of, like, maybe if you steal a Radiant Elemental or a Sorcerer's Apprentice, you know, something that reduces the mana cost of your spells, you could have an infinite cough turn, and that could be really lethal for the opponent.
That will make it a strong card in most rogue decks that want to do some damage. Yeah.
Ooh, Ominous Prowler.
Right. 1 mana 1/3 for Druid. You either choose your opponent hears loud footsteps from the hall, or an item falls off their shelf.
I mean, the fear factor, of course, comes with the opponent not knowing which one you've chosen.
Right. Or perhaps a less educated player maybe wouldn't even know the effect at all, so they would just be blown away. And for such a cheap card, that level of psychological damage is really valuable in the early game.
However, I don't think it is that capable of that much psychological damage, because should you hear loud footsteps in the hall, you probably will assume that it was the Ominous Prowler's death rattle.
Right.
But another bonus is that maybe if the opponent does have an intruder in their house, and you choose the item death rattle, and they hear loud footsteps, they might dismiss it, they might end up murdered. So it could be useful in that sort of situation. But that is very situational.
It's a high roll. Think about including Ominous Prowler in your Beast Druids. Next up, we got the Rampaging Mecca Slammer. Battle cry, your opponent's dog now recognizes a different name.
So, a sort of cheaper version of the Chonga.
Right, yeah. Really. It's another pet synergy card.
I can see this being used in a Chonga deck, you know?
Just to kind of... Well, here's the thing, right?
That pet synergy.
Right, but if you're angling to kill the dog, why would you want to...
Well, maybe you could deprive the owner of the last few, minutes with the animal.
Right, I see.
Because it wouldn't be able to contact it in any way.
Yeah, I can understand that. I don't know. This seems like a warlock card under a different name, but
yeah,
Blizzard know best, so I'll let them off on that one.
Let's move on. Tardy Flapper. Wow. This is an interesting one.
No, I haven't seen a mage beast in a very long time. Tardy Flapper, 5 mana 2/7. Each time your opponent casts a spell, a bird hits their window really hard. I think a Miracle Rogue would really struggle to deal with Tardy Flapper.
Yeah. Or, any Miracle deck that wants to cast a lot of spells in a short amount of time.
It's very sticky.
They'll be getting a headache.
It's very sticky.
Yeah. And if you want to remove it, you might need to use a spell, and that could mean,
some damage.
A bird hitting your window.
Right.
So, yeah.
And nobody would want that. So,
no.
Strong anti-spell, but it is somewhat of a tech card. If you're playing against a heavy minion deck, you're not going to want the Tardy Flapper. It's sticky, but not. You don't really want that for 5 mana. It's a weak turn. Run that if the meta shifts into a spell-heavy direction. You might want Tardy Flapper. Dead Children. Next up.
This card's a dud. I don't think anyone's going to be running Dead Children. I mean, it's just pack filler. It doesn't really fit in with any sort of priest archetype.
Right. It's just a common card. I can understand why they would add this, but...
I mean, it's got good flavour.
Right. But, yeah, I don't think you'll be seeing any Dead Children constructed anytime soon.
I hope not.
Right, let's move on. Chieftain
Wow.
Chonga. Oh, another legendary for Hunter this time. After you play a beast, summon a real copy of it in the opponent's neighborhood.
So, you really don't want this to stick,
Absolutely.
If they can get multiple beasts off, we could have a crisis on our hands.
Well, steep mana cost, and this will probably die the turn after you play it, so you want to play out perhaps some raptors.
But if you can maybe reduce the cost of certain beasts,
cheat them out somehow, some kind of
cheat
beast
them out,
summon,
or maybe reduce the cost of Drongbar himself. This could be a cool combo. So it's sort of a combo piece.
Absolutely, and this could definitely. I'm going to be running this in my hunter deck just for the.
Just for the fun factor, yeah.
Right, it's gonna cause some chaos.
Oh wow!
Next
This
up.
is the one we've all been waiting for.
This is
one of the most iconic characters from WoW is finally in the game. Zeno Grog, God of Enchantment.
I remember my first time raiding Zeno Grog. It was
his Juju bubbles were insane.
It was like being born. 11 mana, 8/7 alien. Death Rattle, if you played a plant type card last turn, shuffle 3 Juju bubbles into your deck. When drawn, trigger a random Death Rattle of an elemental played this game. Wow, a really powerful effect. I don't think anyone can doubt that. I think the immediate reaction after this is the synergy with Molten Blaster.
Yes, yeah.
I think that's going to be really, really strong. Obviously, Death Knights often run plant type cards.
Yeah, and they have a lot of strong ones, so... I mean, the mana cost maybe would be a downside.
Perhaps, but honestly, most games...
And the alien tribe, that is really helpful for a Death Knight, so...
Absolutely, yeah. I think, yeah, for although the if you played an alien last turn...
Yes, yeah.
I'm going to want to probably... I will probably... combo this with Augmented Elic to shuffle as many Juju bubbles in as possible.
That's a good idea, yeah.
Molten Blaster, I can see this card being really, really powerful. I'm just so glad they finally added Zeno Grog.
Yeah. I mean, you're gonna see this one played.
Absolutely.
Even if it isn't that good, people are gonna want to make it work.
Right.
So, yeah.
That you won't be able to avoid Zeno Grog. Alright, so the next card is gonna...